Hello, you are on the Alice Reddit Stories channel. More than 90% watch my videos without a subscription. Subscribe to the channel so we always stay in touch. Enjoy watching. Story 1. Husband, 37M, is an addict. Do I, 29F, keep trying or throw in the towel? Married for 8 years. 4-year-old daughter. Over this past weekend, I discovered my husband has been smoking pot. To help with nerve pain that is in the process of being treated/diagnosed by a doctor. This would be his 4th relapse during our marriage. All of the others were before our daughter was born, and once while she was a baby. The other relapses were pain meds while being treated for a back issue. I have been very understanding. I have done all that I can to help him to help himself. I am starting to feel like I'm done fighting. I don't want to spend the rest of my life waiting for the next relapse. Of course, once I found it, he was all apologies, and I'll do whatever I have to so I don't lose you and our daughter. And while I feel bad that he's in pain and trying to help alleviate it without seeking drugs, I also feel like I've done this enough. Our daughter is very much a daddy's girl and would be heartbroken at the idea of us splitting. For that reason alone, I feel like I should try to make it work, give him another last chance. While we've discussed things, it's never been around her. But she is perceptive of the tension, of course. 2 nights ago she told him she never wants to live somewhere without her mommy and daddy both, and it about broke my heart. I just feel run down and not happy. I don't want her to know that part of him. He says maybe she'd be better off without him in her life every day, as he was better off without his dad, severe alcoholic. I go back and forth day to day, between wanting to try to make it work and feeling like it's too late. He will have to change jobs if he's going to seek recovery again, as his job now prevents him from going to NA meetings. He was active in the NA community before this job, 3 months ago, and had been clean for over a year and was doing well. I know the job isn't an excuse, but it certainly didn't help the problem. I'm in the process of starting my own business and feel like I need him to pick up the slack, in wages and insurance, and he's unable to do it. So I'm stressed about no insurance, barely making ends meet if he works freelance, which is what he did before this job, and stressed in general, I guess. Hoping for someone who's been there and done that, being able to offer some advice. We are going to counseling, first appointment next week, and trying to work it out as of now. I'm just starting to feel like I want and need more than he's able to give. I'd like to have another child, a husband that's able to support us as I open my own business, a normal relationship where I don't worry daily about a relapse, someone to take care of me. Maybe that's more than he can give? I often feel like I am taking care of him, checking on him, etc. TLDR, husband is on 4th relapse in 9 years. We have a 4-year-old that adores him. I'm not sure what to do. Edit, I posted briefly so as to not get into a zillion details, but to clarify since there seems to be some confusion. My husband is an addict. I have a firm understanding of what that means. This time it was pot. So he wouldn't seek pills and doctor shop like he has in the past. His first relapse when I knew him ended with an arrest for breaking and entering, to steal pills, when I was 6 months pregnant. We lost our house. He went to jail. Our finances were ruined. This was after over 6 months of blackouts. I didn't know what they were at the time: missing work, fired from his job, severe depression, etc. At one point, I had him admitted to the mental section of the hospital because I didn't know what was going on. Only that he had no idea what day it was or who the president was. That was the first one. It began with legitimate back pain, being treated with a muscle relaxer, which he abused, took not as prescribed. After jail we got things back together, after living with my parents for a few months and lots of help from his NA friends. Then he relapsed on our daughter's 1st birthday. Was high for her whole party. I have no pictures from that day because he was the photographer and every one of them is blurry. Went to jail for a probation violation. I called his PO and begged him to test him because hubby had been doing so well that his PO had stopped giving him drug tests. That was Ativan, muscle relaxers, Ritalin. Next relapse was last year on stolen pain meds. He medicates depression. When the depression gets out of control, he's being seen for that, then he seeks meds by doctor shopping. His back issues come and go. We put safeguards in place this time around by making it so I can access his medical records to be sure he's not asking the neurologist for pain meds. So he scored some pot from some people at work to take the edge off the pain. The doctor hasn't figured out the correct, non-narcotic, treatment for his nerve/back pain yet. The reason I'm considering leaving is because the 6+ months of blackouts and mental hospital stay were horrifying to me, and I don't want our daughter to ever see that. Since that's my past experience, I can't help but think it may happen again. So it's just pot this time. But it's still an illegal substance he used behind my, and his NA sponsors, back. I have no idea if he drove our daughter or not. I couldn't tell he was using. I found it hidden in the garage. Thanks for all of your input. Keep it coming, please. Update: yesterday I moved my and our daughter's things out. After reading all of your replies and considering my own happiness and the best interests of our daughter, I explained to him that I couldn't do this anymore. Especially in light of all that I read about being codependent after a few people suggested that. I clearly learned that from my own mother, who will do anything and everything for everyone else, even at the expense of her own happiness. I don't want to teach our daughter that that's normal. I also found out that he was doing more than pot. Though this was in the middle of packing my clothes. I had come to this decision before I found out he was in deeper than I thought. He sold my Nikon and my Kindle to buy drugs. I got everything of value out of the house along with our things. We're staying with my grandma, and while our daughter took it very hard when we told her, she's doing quite well. I'm allowing him to come see her, supervised by myself or my mom, and I would bring her to play with him at the park or what have you. But he's not allowed to take her anywhere on his own. He's been clean for 3 days now. I won't deny her her father, but it will be on safe terms that he sees her. He has been very understanding of the rules I'm making about it. Says he's going to make it right. We are in a safe and loving place and doing well under the circumstances. Yesterday was the single hardest day of my life. But today I woke up as if there were a new light. I didn't cry in the shower. I feel a bit more like my old self. I feel stronger. Thank you, Reddit. All of your advice and your clear opinions gave me the strength to do what I know was right. TLDR, I left yesterday, and while it was difficult to tell, our daughter we're doing surprisingly well. We're taking it one day at a time. Thanks for the help. Story 2. OOP bails on their brother's wedding at the last minute. I, 29F, have been working as a wedding planner for about 6 years now. Last year, my brother, B, 29M, has asked me to plan his wedding for him, and as his sister I was happy to do so for free. Everything was going pretty well until maybe a week and a half before the wedding, when B told me to remove our little brother, J, 24M, from the guest list. I tried asking him why, but the only answer he would give me is that Jay was being stubborn and selfish. Of course, I had to ask Jay about this. Apparently B showed up at his apartment and offered to let Jay attend the wedding as long as he doesn't act so gay. Jay of course took offense to that and told B to fuck off, probably leading him to calling me and uninviting him. B has always been harsh to Jay. He's the type of manly man that despises anything feminine. So when Jay came out to us, B's bullying got worse and worse, leading to there being a pretty big rift between them. I've been trying to get the two of them to work out their differences, but B won't even try and hear out what Jay has to say to him. I decided that uninviting Jay to the wedding was the last straw and that I'm not gonna keep helping B if he's gonna continue to act like an asshole to our own little brother. So I sent B all the info for everything I planned at that point, the contacts for the venue, the catering, decorations, everything. Then I told him that if he's gonna keep treating Jay like shit, then he should plan his own wedding because I'm not going to. B told everyone that I bailed on him last second, and that the wedding would have to be postponed because of me. As you'd expect, people were mad, relatives were bombarding me about how important this would be for B, and how I'm ruining an important milestone in his and his girlfriend's life. When I tried to explain myself, I got people telling me that I shouldn't have done something so drastic over a petty squabble between brothers. Update 1. It's been about 5 days since B told our family I bailed on him, and a few new things have popped up. Mainly, B's fiancé has told everyone that it was her who decided to postpone the wedding, and it's not because they couldn't finish planning. She said that this current situation with Jay has brought up some past issues in their relationship and that she needs more time to talk to B about it and reflect before fully committing to marrying him. One of the few times I've ever seen B express vulnerability is with his fiancé. I'm hoping that she can be the one to talk some sense back into him, and hopefully even talk through his hatred of Jay. I've seen some comments say that B coming to Jay's apartment to invite him shows that B really does care about him being there. I thought I should at least tell Jay that, even if it may be untrue. His response was appreciate the sentiment, but B has never given me any incentive to be a part of his life. If he really did care about me, then his invite wouldn't be attached to an insult but instead to an apology. After B's fiancé's G29F announcement, the drama died down a bit. I was a little concerned because both her and B were completely silent for a good month, no texts, no calls, it was like they disappeared. During this time I took the advice of some commenters and apologized to my Jay for trying to force a better relationship between him and B, and for brushing off the bullying that B put him through. He said that he forgives me, but I still want to work on being a better sister. A few weeks ago, I got a message from G asking if we could meet at a restaurant and if I could bring Jay with me. I asked why, especially after all the silence, and she told me that her and B wanted to talk. I informed Jay about this. I wanted to know what was going on, so I was gonna go, but I told him that he didn't have to go with me if he didn't want to. He told me that he thinks he'll be able to handle it, and if B still treats him the same, he'll just leave. Me and Jay went together. When we got there, I could sense that B was feeling nervous. He looked like he was about to cry. Me and G started the conversation with just catching up with each other on what's been happening since we last met. At some point though, B cracked, he took a deep breath and looked at G. B started a speech about how we grew up, and my mind was racing trying to figure out where this was going, until suddenly I just heard the words "I'm bisexual" and everything cleared up. B went on to talk about how he's felt he needed to hide this his whole life. He was envious towards Jay for being able to express himself so openly, which led him to start bullying Jay and pushing him deeper and deeper into the closet. It ended with him apologizing to Jay and asking for forgiveness. Jay was quiet for this whole talk until he felt it was his turn to speak. He said, "B, I hear you. I know where you're coming from. I understand where you're coming from, but none of that excuses the shit you've put me through since we were teens. I can and will try to forgive you, but it's going to take a lot of effort on your end." The rest of the night was a bit of a blur for me. There was alcohol involved, but I do recall B and Jay cry hugging by the end, which I was very glad to see. Jay says that there's still a bit of awkwardness between the two of them, but with time he thinks he might just see B as his nice older brother again. As for the wedding, it's back on but with an undecided date as of right now. And yes, Jay is going to be allowed in this time. He can even bring his boyfriend along with him. B's even decided to have Jay be a groomsman and told him you can act as gay as you want, Jay, which I don't think is the best thing to say, but I like the sentiment. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel, there are a lot of interesting stories ahead of you.